Welcome back, friends. It's another beautiful day here in Flagstaff, Arizona. As you can see, we're out on the Ibex 800E today, and we've got one goal for today, and that is to just put some miles on the bike. I'm currently sitting at 303 miles on the odometer, and I'd like to get it up to 600 before we leave on our trip in 2 weeks. That's right, 2 weeks. So it's coming up fast. But here's the thing, is I'm gone for almost a week of that time. So really, I need to put 300 miles on the bike in about a week, which isn't a big deal, but I don't want to save it for the last minute. So we're gonna put up about 100 miles on the bike today. I'm just gonna ride about 50 down Lake Mary Road here and turn around and come back. But I figured this was also a really good time to do more of a proper shakeout ride on the bike. So I've got the bike fully loaded up right now with all the panniers. I've got one of my tank bags on it. I'm testing out a couple of different camera mounts and strategies for filming. Yeah, we're just kind of trying to get a sense of what it's going to feel like on the bike. The weight feels pretty well distributed right now in the back. I've got the panniers pretty weighted down, probably not quite as weighted as they're going to be, but the bike isn't behaving weirdly or wobbling funny or death wobbling or anything like that, or it doesn't feel exceedingly top heavy. It just kind of feels normal. So I'm not stressing about my plan for the panniers and kind of how we got things laid out. So I'm just going to ease back, enjoy this ride today, and test out some different camera angles on the bike, see if we can get some fun shots. I've got a few GoPro mounts mounted around on the bike. Just test some things out, possibly get the drone up, but it is really windy today, so I'm not sure if that's going to happen. Something I forgot to mention, I tested my speedometer against two different GPS-based speedometers on my phone and on a handheld GPS, and the good news is that my motorcycle speedometer is actually only off by 3 miles per hour, not 5. So much more in line with kind of what's standard across most motorcycles. So that means if I'm going 80 on the bike, that I'm still going about 77 GPS actual speed. So much better. You know, 5 miles per hour was starting to get a little bit up in that annoying range. And this is also good because, as I noted, my cruise control maxes out at 81 for whatever reason. Not 80, but 81. And so that means if I'm going 81, I'm actually going about 78, which is a pretty reasonable speed for interstates out here. All right, well, we fueled up and we're turned around now, headed back home. Let's see, where are we at? We're at 357 miles. So by the time we get home, we're gonna be about 410 or so, leaving us 200 to go. So that's great. One of the things that I did when I was at the gas station back there is I turned on the quick shifter. I've never used the quick shifter before. I'm nervous to try it. I mean, certainly on the Trail 125, it had an automatic shifter, sort of its own thing, but not a quick shifter in the traditional sense. So I'm gonna try it. We're in 5th gear right now. I'm not gonna adjust the throttle. I'm literally just gonna shift. Wow, that was pretty awesome. I don't know if you saw that, but it just popped up into 6th. All right, I'm gonna shift it back down into 5th. That's pretty fantastic. It's gonna take me some getting used to, I think, but that's pretty nice. I gotta admit, being able to just hop back and forth without having to worry about a clutch. I think it's really gonna mess with my head for a little while, especially when I get back on my other bikes. But pretty cool that it comes on this bike just as a standard feature. Oh man, that is cool. All right, I want to come up just a smidge on the windshield. which, you know, of course, one of the downsides to this bike is you can't adjust it with the bike moving, which is kind of, or you can't adjust it with easy clickers. You gotta go in there and kind of hard adjust it. Man, you can really get this thing up to speed fast. Something I'll note with the bike is I don't notice any behavioral differences with all the luggage on. I do notice when I stop, it is a little bit more top heavy as expected, but I don't really notice any weird behavior or any weird vibrations or wiggling or anything like that. It's running fantastic, very predictable. Something that I can comment on is that with my proper earplugs in right now, and with the windshield now adjusted about an inch higher than it was, even with these 50-mile-an-hour gusts, the bike is not only incredibly stable and smooth, but it's so quiet. I mean, I can certainly feel the gusts coming in from the side, like on my chest and on my neck, but it is remarkably quiet considering that I wear an XT4 from Arai, and it is definitely not known for being a quiet helmet. It's a pretty loud helmet. So knowing that even in these types of windy conditions, I can just bop along in just nice, quiet, relaxing stillness here on this bike has really relieved some of my anxiety when it comes to long days across the Great Plains, because man, you know, it's going to be windy on some of these days. It's going to be loud and noisy, blowing around, especially with all this luggage on the back. And this is a pretty dang good field test right now. I've got all the luggage on. It is super windy out. I mean, it's a red flag day right now in northern Arizona, which means fire restrictions, the whole deal. And yeah, I can certainly feel the wind blowing around on me, and the bike is, you know, moves around a little bit. Every once in a while my peak catches a gust, but I am ecstatic at how calm of a ride this is. I mean, just 2 weeks ago on my iron butt ride, it was really windy on some of those stretches, and I was getting blown all over the place. And not only that, it was just so loud in my helmet. Even with my earplugs in, my ears were ringing for 2 days after that ride. So I was really starting to get concerned about permanently upsetting my tinnitus on this RATS ride, and was starting to look at getting a new helmet and just really starting to worry about what I was going to do about the noise level. And now I'm feeling so much better about my prospects on this ride. Really, I'm quite content with how my helmet is performing right now. So this is great. All good. Okay, no sense in faffing about. We put 100 solid break-in miles on the bike today. We've got 200 more to do before we do our first maintenance and oil change and all that before we leave on our trip. Bike ran great, and we put it through some interesting conditions today. We had 50-mile-an-hour crosswind gusting today, very windy conditions, all of the gear loaded on the back, weighted down pretty much as it's going to be on our trip. Getting massive blasts from the side, and you know, the bike swayed a little bit but was incredibly stable. I was very surprised at just how planted the bike felt, and also how quiet it was in my helmet. I was expecting with all that wind to just get so much noise in my helmet, and just everything was nice and calm and chill. And I only had, you know, standard little foamy earplugs in. I didn't have any like fancy earplugs in. Windscreen's doing its thing. The bike is just by nature a very quiet bike. It runs at low RPM at highway speeds. So
Yeah, I was pleasantly surprised with just how gentle the ride was in such windy conditions. So that's a great sign for things to come. Uh, no other issues with the bike. We did test out the quick shifter, which was cool. Never used one of those before. I'm gonna leave it on. Might as well. It's a feature. Come standard on the bike. Let's use it, right? Got to see kind of how things would be arranged with my tank bag. Haven't decided yet what tank bag solution I'm gonna go with, but after coming home tonight, playing around with a little bit more, I think I'm probably gonna go with my bigger tank bag, even though it does sit a little bit more awkward on the tank. I really don't want to carry my backpack for multiple reasons, including possible airbag reasons. So I think I'm going to go with the Nomax bag. At least that's my tentative plan. Uh, let's see. We tested out some different camera angles. I've got a few new mounts on the bike, so we'll be able to get some different footage on this trip. You know, from the back, from down on the wheel. I don't have any sort of like Insta360 stick or anything like that. I just didn't feel like dropping $500-600 on a new camera. We're gonna go with the GoPros that we have. No big deal. Couldn't fly the drone today. Way too windy for the Mini. Um, but yeah, otherwise, all is looking good. So the bike's now parked in the garage for the next few days. I'm not going to be able to ride it. I've got some work commitments I've got to deal with. But starting kind of mid next week, I'll be able to get back into it, finish those last 200 miles out, put out a couple more final videos, probably two, maybe three more final videos. And that's it. We're getting close, man. 2 weeks from tomorrow. This is really exciting. So that's it. I'll stop yapping now. Take care, everyone. Be safe, and I'll see you in about a week with the next video.